Hello, can you hear me? Are you okay? What is it? Don't be ridiculous, Kibbles. It's a human. Oh yeah, yuck. I can smell it now. Smells like a human. Oh, do be quiet. Are they alive? Of course it's alive. It's breathing, you imbecile. Why isn't it moving? Would you come on and give them some space? Move back a bit. Yes, stand back. Move out of my way. Let me have a proper look. I begin to come to. The Sphinx cat is standing over me as I open my eyes. We stare at each other for a moment while I try to take in what's happening. Is this one defective? Oh, I feel sick. I'm gonna puke. The cat's watching me intently. Am I going insane? Ouch, my head. What is it chattering about? They're scared and confused. Let me talk to them. Human, are you alright? You, I remember. You took my catalog. Oh, but I gave it back to you. It's in your pocket now. I try to reach in my pocket and realize my hands are scratched to shreds. Ow, 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 ow. What's wrong with my hands? I try to stand. Ow, 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 my feet. What happened to me? Yeah, I guess that's from all the climbing. I told you it wasn't ready for that. What's that? Ready for what? Its anatomical structure is far too delicate. I try to slow it down. Yeah, Floof, you try restraining a human who's that determined. It was like a margay. Its anatomical structure didn't seem like that delicate to me. I was like, what? Doing what? You made your own way back to the beach. Okay, but doesn't explain. I showed them my bleeding hands. Ah, you crawled, Kara. Kara? Who's Kara? That's not my name. It's a term of endearment. It's an Irish thing. It's inappropriate. Wait, I crawled? You sure did. Like a cat? Yup. All the way from the mountains? Like a bleeding mountain lion. Impressive. But why? Because you got the sickness.
Get up down the sickness.
Shh. Maybe you should sit down, human. We need to have a talk. Possibly a long talk. Talk? Yes, that's right. Since when can cats talk? Oh, for goodness sake. Since the dawn of time, how else do you think we communicate? Stop splitting whiskers, Major. You know full well what the human's saying. I think the revelation here, Kara, is that you can understand us. Yes, that too. Will someone explain what the hell is going on here? Well, we don't fully understand everything ourselves, at least not at the detail of how this works. I think being stood in the forest, surrounded by a bunch of talking cats is about as much detail as anybody would want. I agree, and more to the point, we were rather hoping you would be able to help us. You are the scientist, after all. I didn't get to read the last part because I clicked too early. What do you mean? Well, there's no easy way to say this to you, Kara. You're catified. I'll be what? Whether you help or not, you don't have a lot of time before, if I may. It would seem that we are all basing this in our experiences to date, that when the human manages to find themselves in what I believe you call the danger zone, they are vulnerable in ways that they previously were not. That is to say, you're screwed. Wow, Kibbles. You're definitely not helping. Don't make me. Hiss. Whoa, mountain lion. There'll be no violence of any kind. Forgive me for being a bit panicked here. The vulnerability to which Snooty Booty was referring to is, simply put, if you are bitten or scratched by an elder cat within the danger zone, you will begin a process of change that will ultimately result in a full feline transition. Catified. So basically, you're telling me I'm a werecat? I look down, and amongst all my scratches on the right hands are two distinct puncture marks. The reality of my situation descends on me like a cold mist. Basically, yes. My head is spinning. This is too much for me to take in. Take a deep breath now, Kara. You're not looking so good. What? Have I started to change? I feel my head for ears, fur, everything seems to be normal. No. I just meant you're looking a bit shaky. Understandably so. Take a few deep breaths and calm myself enough to say, okay, so why, how, what? Give me some data. What have you got so far? Look, we'll answer anything that we can, but the truth is we have more questions than answers ourselves. So, you said you need my help. What exactly would that entail? Well, finding our friends would be a start. The cats on the island, they're going missing. We don't know what's happening to them, but the body count is rising, and we've hit a wall. A wall of ignorance, maybe. Really, how many times do I gotta tell you? The Muellers are to blame. Muellers? Now, Floofy, but there's no need for name-calling. Speaking of name-calling, I'll remind you to call me Major, madame. Look, they can't help the way they are. It's a lack of breeding, you know? Overbreeding, if you ask me. Again, Muellers? They're the elder cats, the island originals. They can't speak the way we can, hence the derogatory term Muellers. And how are they to blame exactly? Well, if I knew that, there would be no need for this elaborate kidnapping. It's hardly proving to be a roaring success after all. Look, Kara, after all we really know is that we are no longer safe in the island. The elders who live within the danger zone are hostile towards us. Not sure why, it's just always been that way. And now, because cats are being taken nowhere else is safe either. Jesus Christ. You expect the occasional mishap. We live in an undomesticated world here, after all. That one's got like a weird smile. Can I click on any of these guys? No. But lately, cats have been disappearing almost every day. Even the last human we catified went missing. I'm sorry, what? Let's not open old wounds, Kibbles. Yes, onwards and upwards. Well, first things first, the werecat thing. Catification. Transition. Whatever. How does it work? Time passes and you transform into a cat. Yeah. It's a gradual process. This is different for everybody, but you won't just turn overnight. The clock is ticking, however. The first side effect of the transition is being able to understand us. Well, some of us. Not the elders, obviously. Not all the domestics either. Then you have the whole heightened senses thing, the increased agility, the crazy body hair stuff. That's not really human with all the details just yet, though. I assume there's an antidote? I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed in that assumption. Hang on, you said there was something else you'd put in this position. Well, let's just hope you're a better bet than they were. Unfortunately, they weren't able to discover an antidote to get our friends back. I know where their notes are, though. Really? Trade. Huh? You help us, and I'll give you the progress reports. So, what do you say, Kara? Will you help us? Yes, I'll help the kitties. Not much of a choice, really, is it? Afraid not. Okay, fine. So, where do I start? Is there anything you can tell me that will help me track down your missing friends? Well, no one listen to sense. Start with the Muellers, and I'll eat my hat if it doesn't end there, too. Whispers, don't mind him. He's just set in his ways. We have every reason to believe the abductions take place in your part of the island. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone or the elders. Well, that doesn't make much sense. But I suppose nothing does around this place. Wake up! Time to get wake up! My catalog starts beeping. Oh, my alarm. I have to get to work. You run along now. We don't want you arousing suspicions with your people. You can meet with us later. I'll make sure those reports are in your tent before this evening. Thanks, Kara. You're 1 in a million. I imagine the odds are far greater than that, given your new health status. Go! And thanks from all of us. Okay, so this is an interesting storyline. Oh, we didn't have Disco Kitty this time. After a rather painful journey, I'm very grateful to finally end up in the camp. I have just enough time to get myself tidied up for work, and I'm about to peel off my filthy pajamas when I hear my catalog beeping. I have a message, but I can't tell who it's from. It's not from any of the contacts that Professor Popper programmed into it. In fact, there's no contact information at all. Messages. Unknown number. Are you sure it is wise to trust anyone? What on earth does that mean? Who is this? There's a lot you don't know. Think carefully about who you confide in. Before I can think of a reply, the messages are gone, and my catalog has no record of them. Oh boy. I don't have any time to think about this right now. I need to get ready. As soon as I'm presentable, I head over to the lab. I'm 10 minutes late. It doesn't give a good impression my first morning. Well, you goofy goober. Ah, ImKrazyK. Good to see you. I was beginning to worry. Did you oversleep on your first day? I'm terribly sorry, sir. I think the traveling and all the excitement of yesterday, I take punctuality very seriously. I do. He cuts across my apology. Not to worry. It's perfectly understandable. You'll find I'm quite relatable about most things. As long as you get the work done, I don't mind what hours you keep. Oh, cool. Thanks, Doc. Thank you, sir. So, shall we get started? My goodness, what on earth happened to you? He's looking at the scratches all over my hands. Oh, I fell and tried to save myself by grabbing onto a bush. Not a secret drinker, are you, ImKrazyK? No. Oh no, sir, I'm a bit of a lightweight, to tell you the truth. Just teasing. We ought to get those hands sorted out, though. They look pretty nasty to me. He goes to a tall metal cabinet in the corner and takes out a bottle and some cotton wool. He begins cleaning and tending to my hands while he talks. For today, I'd like you to help me with a few tasks around the lab to get the hang of things. But from tomorrow, Okay. I'll let you make your own choices about how best to carve up your time. Of course, you're primarily here to carry out your job as my research assistant. However, try to make the best of that. Try to make the best of your time on the island. Once your work's completed, we'll be saying goodbye. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so don't waste it all in the lab. Okay. Naturally, I need your help around here, but I'd also like you to get your hands dirty with some field work. Make sure you're spending time exploring the island. It's a beautiful place, and there's a lot to see. Take the time to get to know the cats. A full understanding of their behavior is crucial to our research. There is plenty to see and do. However, you must be careful not to overwork. Take regular rests and relaxation. We don't want you to burn yourself out now, do we? I'll try to get the balance right. That's a spirit, so there you are. He's done a first-class job of my wounds, and they aren't bothering me as nearly much as they were. I spend the rest of the day with the professor getting to know how the various pieces of equipment in the lab work, finding out where everything is, and learning some of the basic duties I will be performing routinely. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I make my way to my tent. I'm about to flop down on my bed when I see a package poking out from underneath it. It's the reports that Kibbles promised to deliver. The cats were right. The previous person barely made... Oh, shit. I decide that's not an option and resolve to get going on my research into it tomorrow. My instincts tell me that the cats will be a good starting point, but I have a feeling they know a lot more than they're prepared to tell me. I need to gain their trust and see if I can get them to open up a bit. I'm sure I'll make more progress if I focus one at a time. I'm optimistic that one-to-one sharing will prove fruitful, and it's a small glimmer of hope. Today, I'm not fit for anything. I can barely even write in my journal before I fall asleep. Huh. The first morning of waking up on the island. I'm so excited to discover I'm reading too quickly. My brain just doesn't want to do this. The day will bring... Should I jump straight into lab research, or maybe it'd be wise to start investigating a way to help these cats and find a cure for myself? Perhaps a good starting point would be to get to know the cats a little bit better on a one-to-one basis. Is it going to give me an option here? It's got an achievement called New Job. We got an achievement, boys. Successfully complete the introduction. Cool. Alright, what should I do today? How can I do romance? I don't understand. Let's do some research, I guess. Do research 5. Time to rent out some rowdy kitties. So today I go to organize a few samples from previous field trips. Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this one. Let's do some cat collection. Yeah! It's a sunny afternoon. Most of the cats are lazing on the beach. Perfect. Like shooting fish in a barrel. Double check my supply list. Crate, treat, sedatives, snare, cat trip, and to accept the cream for myself. I've got everything. I have a sick feeling in my tummy, but I ignore it as best as I can. This can be a challenge, but I'm pleased that the professor has trusted me with more physical tasks. I walk out into the beach, feeling like the child catcher. I keep reminding myself that I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it makes me unpopular with the cats. I set up to create an unsuspecting location and keep the snare hidden behind my back. At first, I stroll around trying to look for as casual as possible, whistling a tune as I walk. I get to one of the smaller cats. I start to stroke her. I want this to be as painless as possible. The cat responds well to me. She even starts to purr gently. Are you going to come with me? The cat looks at me with big, wide, loving eyes. Come on, then. I pick the cat up, carry her to the crate, and place her gently inside. I lock it, shut it, even though the cat makes no attempt to escape. Well, that made this better than expected. This may be a good day after all. Emboldened by my success, I approach one of the slightly larger cats. Hey, matey, shall we get in the basket? I give him a little stroke. He doesn't respond badly, although he doesn't seem particularly interested either. I put my hands on either side of his body, ready to pick him up. He doesn't look happy about it and growls a warning at me. Hey, mister, it's gonna be okay. We're just going on a little trip, alright? As soon as I start to lift, all hell breaks loose. Yelling and hissing, he scratches my arms to ribbons. I try to get him in the basket, but he stretches out and I can't fit him in. Oh, ow, oh no. I know when I'm defeated and I have to let him go. He scampers off into the distance. I look down at my ravaged arms. Note to self, wear long sleeves when on caging duty. Disco cat. Alright. Alright.